Welcome back. So today, we're going to be heading over to Dodixie, 9 Moon 20 Federation Navy Assembly Plant, since this is the Galente Trade Hub. And our main objective is to take all of our ships and all of our items over there. That way we can sort through those. But first, I'm going to go through some of the strategies you can use as an alpha to help you get to places a little bit safer. It's not guaranteed. It's going to require the use of a lot of bookmarks. First thing though, go into your character sheet, go to augmentations, and I just took a bunch of the event boosters. Oh, and I accidentally took the mining range one. Oh well. But make sure you don't have any implants on. If you do have implants on, I recommend going over to the clone bay and installing a clone if you're able to. But this is why I waited to plug in all these adaptation chips and stuff that we got from mission rewards. These ones in particular aren't too expensive. So if you plug them in and you lose them, that is perfectly fine. You got them for free. So, as an alpha, you do not have access to cloaking devices. So getting places safe is kind of a struggle. This route isn't too bad. The lowest security system is a 0.5, which is still considered high sec. But when you're going through low sec especially, these are things you're going to want to do. For the journey that we are making right now, this is going to be a bit overkill and unnecessary. First thing we're going to do, go into personal, and then go into locations, and this will open up this window. And we're going to want this when we get outside too. Things are split up. This is an automatic folder that's created that you can pop out in a separate window. That shows you locations you have saved in a specific system. Then you have personal locations, which is saved to your character. Then shared locations, which is mostly used if you have alts, or if you're in a corporation, you'll get a bunch of shared location folders from that. And agent missions, I'm not sure what goes in there. I guess if you have special Epic Arc agent missions, it puts it in there. So for right now, let's undock. And I'm going to move stuff around real quick. And now let's click on this gate, and we're not going to jump, we are just going to warp. And we're also doing this in the Corvette. And the reasoning for this is basically we are probably going to look suspicious and end up getting shot at. And we do not want to lose anything while we do that. And that's why we're doing all of this before we transport goods. Like I said, this is probably completely unnecessary just for this 5 jumps in high sec. But I will demonstrate because it's good stuff to know. This isn't as much of an issue in high sec, but in low sec, you want to go to the gate and click up or down. You double click, have your ship go in that direction, turn on afterburner. We are going to wait until the warp command is able to be selected. So this might take a little while. I believe it's 150 kilometers. Well, I'll bring you back once we're there. Okay. Yep, it's at 150 kilometers. So we can stop our ship now. And hold control and press B. And this will bring up the location saver. And we're going to put this as Cooster. That's the name of the star system. Algogile, I suppose. Gate. Above. And save that as never. And now that will show up in personal locations and also locations in Cooster. So the reason you would want to have a bookmark up here is that you can warp here, look down, and because we are directly above the gate, if they have smart bombs placed coming from stations or other directions around the system, You would avoid it by warping up here and then warping down to warp in. The smart bombs are mostly only used in low sec. I believe they can technically be used in high sec, but no one does it because you'll have Concord on you, like, immediately. But I have been encountering smart bombs a lot recently, so it's something that's on my mind. You want one mark that's up here. And I actually forgot the first part of this, but we're going to head back to the station. When you come out of the station, try and find something that is directly in front of you. I see this planet over here is about centered, so I am going to warp to that. And I'm going to press Control B and wait for this to take down from 9.45 to about half. It's around like 4.5. There, and save. Let's now go into Edit Location. We're going to name this Cruister Safe Warp and submit. So now we have a way to warp safely out of the station, and it is in space where nothing else is located, so no one's going to be able to easily locate us quickly. Just in case someone decides that a hauler containing a bunch of stuff, even though it's not very valuable, might be worth their time. And next thing I'm going to do, actually, is take a look at the solar system map and see if I can find... I am holding right click to move the map around. This is our safe warp. We're here at the planet. The station is here. And this is the gate. So the next mark that I'm going to make, we're going to go to our safe by warping to it. So now we are at our safe location, which is in space in the middle of nowhere, which is exactly what you want for a safe location. And now we are going to start warping, I think, directly to the gate. I'm actually going to right click, say warp to within 100. Press Control B. This will not create the bookmark until you press enter or submit. So now we're waiting for this to tick down. There we go. That is our new spot. So let us warp directly to this one. There we go. And we can edit this to Cruister, Algogil, Dscan. And you can organize your bookmarks however you want. You can go in here and create a folder. So you can have folders for very specific things, which I will do eventually. But for right now, this will work. Alright, so now we're here. We have that gate. It is located down here. You can also get it with Alt-D. This is the solar system map where you've done the probe scanners. So if you open this up, I definitely recommend opening this in a separate window. So what we're doing right now is we are scanning in a cone with an angle of 90 degrees. And you can change the angle and the distance up to 14 AU. Let's warp to this and see if we're actually able to descan. Because if we can have one less bookmark, that is always good. So we're warping. You can see the descan trail following. Okay, perfect. So now the default key for the directional scan is the V on your keyboard. If you hold V and click on something, it will scan directly in that location. Let's do that. Let's hold V and click on the gate. So now you can see exactly what is on this gate. We have a cargo container, a venture, and a capsule, and the Stargate itself. This is not super necessary unless you're worrying about smart bombs. I'm actually going to just remove that location since that is no longer necessary. And then once you've verified, then it's safe to jump to the gate. If you see a smart bomb, probably go back, get a Corvette if you're not in a Corvette, and go to that location above and check to see if you can get through. And Yeah, it's good practice to use the D-scan as much as possible. And then what I usually do, for the most part, I leave D-scan on 360 degrees, which will create a sphere around you that you can see. Now if we close the solar system map, move this to a place. Green space is starting to become an issue. So we can resize this, and we can shorten this to get a little bit more view. And we can always move stuff around as desired, which is nice. And you can see this has the filter of whatever is in here right now. I usually tend to keep it on target capsuleers. That is just my preference. You can also do it on like the targets, which is the same thing, target capsuleer all. And eventually we'll go through creating a special overview specifically for NPCs. And you can create all sorts of filters, but this is the basics that you need to know. And then if you press V or click on the scan button, you'll get this list. We can see someone is using core scanner probes, and they're not showing up here. The D-scan is a great way to find out what's going on in the system around you. So let's head back to the station, and I will show you the general best safe route and how to do this. Coming from the academy, we're going to go to our safe warp, like so. And that will bring us out to the middle of nowhere. Wonderful. Now we can reduce the angle in here. Hold V and you can select the gate from here. Now we can see there's a Helios, an Imicus, an Ibis, which is a Corvette, and then core scanner probes over by the gate. But there's no smart bombs. Clearly there's not going to be because it's a 0.9 in this system, but these are the things you check for when you're going through low-sec. So now, to be double safe, we can warp to the place above the gate. And now from this location, we can hit the jump button. And we will warp down and go through the gate safely. You can also, one of the things that's good to know is the star is always going to be the thing that the gate leaves you at. Yeah, right here, this location. So having your safe somewhat near the sun, or let me rephrase that. Having your safe in the direction of the sun, but not right on top of it, is generally a pretty good idea. Let us go this direction. Control B. And we'll wait till this is about 12. So right there. Then we have our safe spot that we can get from that gate and warp pretty quickly. And the reason you don't want to just warp to the sun for most things is because you will get people who are looking to PvP to end up around the sun, hoping people will do that. And you get this very cool view of the sun, actually. A star, I suppose. The sun is ours. So yeah, now we have this Algogyle safe that we can warp to. And now you can see from the menu here that the Stargate that we want to take, as well as the one heading back, are both within the 14.3. So I believe we hold V, press down. Oh, we have it set to capsule. So if we go to general overview, you'll see all the mobile depots. Yeah, so we can see the Stargate from here. And we also, I guess these stargates like right next to each other, which is interesting. You will get that sometimes. We can V and check on this one. Make sure that we're getting the stargate in with our D-scan. Then do target capsuleer all, no drones. You can see what's there, and I forgot to set this back, but there we go. And you can change the range. So if you're getting just a lot of stuff on D-scan, it is good to kind of like toggle the range to try and figure out what's going on around you versus what's going on like the opposite side of the system. Each solar system is a different size. So sometimes you'll have D-scan and you'll be able to get a D-scan of basically the entire system and everyone in it. Other times the system will be big and you will not get most of everything. So you have to keep that in mind for each system. I am not going to bother making the safe bookmarks above the gates because this is in high sec. Those bookmarks specifically are definitely useful in low sec situations. And if you're asking, is this important? No, until it is. Is basically my best response to that. You're going to feel silly doing this, creating all these safe bookmarks and hopping around oddly instead of just going from gate to gate. However, it will save your hide. It will. Trust me, you will get blown up, and it's not a good feeling. So doing all this extra stuff will really help, especially if you are an alpha and you can't rely on a cloak to hide your location. Having these safe bookmarks that are basically in the middle of nowhere are very, very helpful in keeping you safe. So, I'm going to go make safe bookmarks the rest of the way. I'm not going to worry about being in D-scan range. I'm not going to worry about the bookmarks above the warp gates. Because it is high sec, usually just a safe is pretty good. You're not going to need much more than that in high sec. The other thing with these safe spots is when you're doing exploration, it's a good place to come to, because no one's going to be able to find you easily without using combat scanner probes, which will show up on here. And that is one of the good things. You should always be checking D-scan when you're doing anything that has a full screen window while you're in space, because people will sneak up on you when you're not expecting it and shoot you down. Yeah, PvP outside of a market hub. Perfect example of why we make these safe bookmarks. So I have just gotten to the Dodixie market. You can see I made a safe, warping in, and I'm going to undock and hope for the best. And I might get blown up by a tornado, but that is okay. Alright, so we can see right here. I don't see anything that is straight ahead. I am actually going to warp to this mobile depot then. I'll press Control B. And there. Now we have a safe warp out for getting out of the station, hopefully safely. I'm calling this a safe warp for coming out of the station. Now I have a safe near the sun, and I have a safe for coming out, so I can warp directly out of the station to here. And technically, if people really wanted to follow, they could follow me to here. But yeah, they attacked someone, and then they were destroyed by Concord. Now they're in their capsule, going back to wherever their home station is. So, I'm going to go back to where all my stuff is. If you ever lose like track of where you put stuff, you can go into personal assets. And from here, this is where all the stuff is, set destination. So I'm going to head back. And then we'll do a trip to Dodixie, which looks to be a bit more interesting than I originally thought it was. I had come over here at one point for something on my main character, and it was not anything like this. But that's how it be. I got my Nereus filled up with everything that was in my item hanger. I've named it Velator. If you are using a hauling ship, I recommend changing it to a different ship name. That way when you show up on D-Scan, people don't know that you're in a hauler. Because it's a Galente, they actually have a drone bay. I haven't bothered with fitting anything yet. That is something I will do once we get to Dodixie. So for right now, we'll be taking this tube over. I did save the market as a bookmark as well. So we can set destination from here and undock. So from station, we'd want to go to our safe warp. And you'll see that we enter warp fairly quickly. And that's because of how we aligned ourselves. And now we're at our safe. Now, if this was in LowSec, I do not recommend transporting goods through LowSec, but if you have to, from here, you would then open up your directional scanner, change the angle, and point it at the gate to see what is around the gate, including any potential smart bombs. If you're in nullsec or Pochven, you also need to make sure that there are not bubbles. I lost a lot of stuff to a bubble this week, so that is fresh on my mind. But because this is highsec, I am actually going to remove this bookmark above the gate that we made. If you're on lowsec, I definitely recommend, even if you've done a D-scan, go to the bookmark above the gate and then warp to the gate and take it, just because that's a little bit safer. You're never going to be completely safe in this game. You're going to lose stuff no matter how hard you try not to, but these are things that I have found very helpful and definitely worth doing to save your hide. Oh, and if you want to save stations as bookmarks as well, like I've done with the Dodixie market, you can just right-click on it. You can save pretty much everything as a bookmark, except for like random ships in space. Even then sometimes. I'll let you for certain things, more specifically if it's for missions and whatnot. Alright, and from here, we will warp to our safe. And now one of the things you want to keep in mind is the way that I have made the bookmarks. I'm doing it as if I am coming from this direction, going towards Dodixie. If I have a trade route that I'm going from Dodixie back to here, then I would want to make separate bookmarks for warping off of gates, just to make sure I get that warp a little bit faster. Like I said, without the cloaks and the benefits of cloaks on an alpha character, this is kind of what you have to do. So now we're at our safe. We can go and take the gate. And we only have 6 million, which when you're first starting out, 6 million sounds like just everything. But it's really not that much, honestly. Here's more of the Autothesian Lancers. Never ever attack an Autothesian Lancer. They will leave you alone even though they're red. Alright, and from here, we can go to the next safe. And from safe to warp gate. And if you're in a particularly big solar system, you will probably have a safe coming off of the gate, and then you might have a second safe a certain distance away from the next gate. That way you can descan it in LowSec. And like I said, this seems excessive, but it will keep you safe. Anytime I get kind of complacent and stop doing things in a safe manner, I end up losing quite a bit of stuff, and it hurts. And honestly, if you don't want to do this, if you just want to take the chance and warp from gate to gate, that is totally fine. That is totally valid. But for the purpose of this demonstration, and this is a pretty safe area to do it in, when we're going through LoSec, I will go through this in a bit more detail again. And because we're going to be doing faction warfare, we will end up going into LoSec. And you'll notice because we have the safe bookmarks that are pointed towards the sun, our ship doesn't have to rotate in any direction to align. And that just makes it a little bit quicker to enter warp than what it would usually do. By the way, Glente space is really cool. It's surrounded by this nebula, which is just gorgeous. Anyway, on to the next gate. And you notice that this gate in particular is 53 AU away. So what I could do is start to warp to it, Control B, make a bookmark when I'm in the 14.3 AU range, and then I'll have my second save point. You will get ganked in high sec. You will have people attack you. But because I came through earlier with the Corvette, which is also not a bad idea, to just go through with a smaller ship that has nothing in it before you go through with all of your stuff. It helps to give you an idea of what's going on in the system at that point. Isn't this gorgeous though? I absolutely love this space around Glente. Like, hold on, there we go. Isn't this beautiful? Stuff like this is why I absolutely love this game. You'll just be going about your day and then you're like, oh, wow, this is just gorgeous. Alrighty, let's jump into Dodixie and see how we do. And from here, let's go to our safe. We have seen that people are PvPing in this area, so definitely good to have the safe. And now we have this destination set, so we are going to use autopilot for the best thing it is useful for, in my opinion. So we're going to get to our safe. We're going to right click, warp to within 0 meters. And then we're going to turn on autopilot. So what this will do is warp us as close as possible to the station, and then autopilot will send the dock command before anything else processes on the server. So hopefully no one will be able to lock onto us and take down what little we have. There we go. Yep. It is slightly faster than if you just press dock. And it is worth doing. So now here we are. Let us move everything into our item hanger. And for now, that is going to do it. Next time, I'm going to go over some basics for fittings. So we can fit this, and then go back and retrieve all of our ships. Because they are big, it's going to be a little bit of an adventure. The catalysts, for example, are 5,000 cubic meters. And this starts out as 2,835. For this ship specifically, you do get the 5% bonus to ship cargo capacity. If you are an Omega, I highly recommend getting the hauler skill up as high as possible. However, you only have one level as an alpha. So, it is what it is. We'll see what we can do with fittings next time. But for now, I hope you're all doing well. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.